What is up, everybody? It is another episode of the Command Time Podcast presented by the Fans for Sports Network, live on YouTube, live on Twitter. We're going to be recapping the NFL draft, all the players that have been selected, and a couple of undrafted free agents. So buckle up. It's time for Command Time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, we ready right now. It's about time. I know it's about time. It's about time.
What is up, everybody? It is Command Time Podcast presented by the Fans for Sports Network, live on YouTube, live on Twitter, aka X. It is me, DT Sensei, and your boy Caleb with another episode of Command Time Podcast. So, obviously, we're here to recap the 2025 NFL Draft for the Washington Commanders. Much exciting weekend. Some great conversations were had on spaces and throughout social media about what they did over the weekend and stuff. But we're here on a Wednesday night to discuss it all once again. So, Caleb, how are you?
I'm good, man. Good. Draft went by pretty fast, actually. I don't know, it just seemed faster than normal, in my opinion, from what I've experienced in the past. So, but we only had 5 picks, but we're gonna talk about the
Yeah.
picks later. But
Yeah. Did it feel fast for me? Uh
what I mean by that, like, there was not a lot of trades, not that too many trades. No players got traded, and every team had their first round pick this year as well. So it was it was a draft different from the past, in my opinion.
okay, I see what you're saying. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I can see that. I also think like at certain spots, you kind of knew where they were gonna go, but majority of this draft was very um unpredictable,
hmm
especially um it started at number 2 because nobody expected Jacksonville to come up with a last second trade. But
yeah,
overall, I think everything went good though. Well, the Shador thing was that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother podcast. But
yeah. It
let's go
is.
ahead. Let's go ahead and talk about Washington, though, man. We finally got rid of the draft fatigue. We're finally able to sit here and talk about what they were able to do. Um, I'm gonna ask you a question, and I see one of our co-hosts has came up here. Shout out to Kayla. She just made it up here just in time to ask our first question on the podcast. How are you, Kayla?
I'm doing fine.
Okay, that's good. Most definitely. So, first question I have after draft weekend for both of you guys. Were you mildly surprised at what Washington did, or you expected the what you had to expect what Washington was going to do over the weekend?
So for me, during the draft, I was a little more surprised due to some movement that was happening. But if you listen to the staff, Adam Peters, he said that they liked their board, that they had their board, and they were going to stick to their board. So if we actually listened to them during the pressers a few prior to the draft, when they had their pressers prior to the draft, they did what they said they would do.
Yeah, I guess you could say surprised because they didn't pick an edge rusher. I guess compared to what people did in their mocks. So, and I think from especially last year, and I think this has to be the trend going into the future. When we do these mocks for our team, we can't expect them to do what we expect them to do.
Yeah. Hmm.
For
Yep.
example, last year we had 2 second round picks. People doubled down on O line. Some people went best player available, but we when we do mocks, we do it based off our needs. Sometimes what they feel like the team needs.
Yep.
So going into this draft, um, I did not expect them. Well, was I surprised that they picked Josh Connelly a tackle? No, I wasn't surprised that they picked the offensive lineman. I I could guess you. I guess you can say I was surprised that they didn't address the defensive line at all. So I guess that was my biggest surprise. Um, so
So
I
I
know
have, I
throughout
have,
the
I
whole
have.
draft, I'm like, are they really not gonna pick an age? This is
So,
crazy.
I have a edge question for you though.
Hmm.
Well, double edge question, not edge
Hmm.
rusher, but a double. Were you surprised that they took Connolly over Simmons?
For me, I'm gonna say no, just injury based, not performance based. That's where I'm basing it off.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, same here. Do I think fully healthy? Who's the better prospect?
It's
Josh
definitely,
Simmons.
it's
I
definitely
think he's the better
Simmons.
prospect if he's fully healthy. Now, I think they're looking at they want their players to be available. If you have a huge injury history, or it's an injury history that's a little concerning, then they're most likely this team most likely won't pick you. Do I hate the pick of Josh Connolly? No, I don't hate it at all. I think it's a good mindset or good transition to what they're trying to do with this team. Um, Trying to build the front five, and same thing with the front
Mm.
four on defense. I mean, they didn't invest in any draft picks in it this year, but maybe they feel like this edge class isn't all what it's cracked out to be. Maybe that's how they feel, and we're gonna see in the future with some of these guys.
Okay, so I have a reaction and I have a theory. I'm gonna go with reaction first. So I was slightly caught off a little bit with them taking a tackle only because when I and obviously our boards are different from Adam Peters' board, but from what we have kept slightly hearing, what we have seen some of the players who were on the board that came in of top 30 visit, at least two of those guys that came on top 30 visit were edge rushers. And the way the board fell, you also had Will Johnson falling down as well. So that made it such an enticing pick for what they were going to do at 29. But when they took Josh Connolly, it's always, uh, but you got to realize O line picks are not sexy. But
Gotta
what they
protect the
did,
investment.
they address something that has been extremely lacking for a long time. When the last regime got here, this offensive line was definitely solid to say the least, with the exception of the Trent Williams saga that was going on before he got traded. Now, in one off season, you have added at least 7 to 8 guys that can play on the at the line of scrimmage. You traded for Larry Tunzel for a third round pick. You drafted Brandon Coleman last year with a third round pick. You signed Biotish. You signed Allegretti. You
Nick Herbig.
re-signed Sam Cosby, and you have Andrew Wiley, who was a holdover, and he played extremely well last year. Um, your top 6 offensive linemen are good to go when, especially when Cosby come back. You set your O line up for 3 to 5 to maybe even 10 years of excellence to keep Jaden's back clean.
It's all about protecting the investment. Once you found that investment, you have to protect it. Like with last season with CJ Stroud, after that first year, then what they do, they went around, they got them some shiny toys to add to that offense. And their offensive line failed them instead of investing in the offensive line his second off season. What we did this year, we did get Jaden a weapon, but instead of just adding a weapon, we also added ways to protect Jaden for the next several years as well. So it's not always about the weapon; it's also about protection. So then people like to compare what happened with the Texans with us. I see the difference. That last season they got Stephon Diggs. I think they got a running back as well. They were just nothing in the trenches.
Well, I will challenge you on that because they did address trenches the year they drafted Stroud, but none of them actually played together because it was injuries. So that was actually this past season. They're all first time playing together, but they still had injuries along
They
the
would
offensive
still have
line
to
and some
invest into it.
inconsistency.
They still got to
I,
keep adding to it
I think what she's saying, DT, is free agency or like the off season
in the off
period
season.
after CJ Stroud's rookie year. Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
And then they didn't really
Um,
draft like a lineman, I don't think, last year.
I know they
Maybe Blake
had,
Fisher. They got Fisher. They got
I
Fisher.
know they had Kenyon Green, who's still on his rookie deal. He's bad.
Yeah,
They already had Tunsil, but
They didn't get no
their free
depth.
their free agency that they invested the most in was the skill players, Joe Mixon,
Diggs.
Diggs, but they still had young cornerstone pieces on defense. They didn't double down, kind of what what we did in a
I can
way.
see
They
that.
yeah, they didn't invest draft picks for a premier left tackle like we did. And then they said, okay, so Washington addressed the offensive line. Now they're going to go defense. You did the complete opposite. You said, no, we're still going to double down on offensive line. Like, we're making sure we protect this kid while we continue to build the defense or get some weapons. And um, I've said multiple times, y'all can check my Twitter. I said multiple times, if I had to choose elite weapons or an elite offensive line, I'm picking the offensive line 10 days, 10
People say that
times. 7 days
Jaden
out of
is a
the 7 days out of the
force
week.
multiplier. So look what he did last year with those wide receivers. And I don't think the staff in the future is going to have that level of wide receivers again. So each time the more talent you add to that room, Jaden is going to develop. No matter if it's the top name, he will be a top name once Jaden's finished.
Now, I will say this to your point. Just because Jaden is a force multiplier doesn't mean I'm not gonna give him
That
any more young weapons. Now,
Yeah,
that's definitely
they
true.
did get Jalen Lane, which is
I
it's
don't
going to
like the
be
Ja'Cory Brooks. I started watching a little bit of his games.
Jalen Lane's going to be an interesting player. What would he do? And he's going to start off on special teams, of course. But if you're not productive on special teams, then you're not going to see the field on offense in general. If we can't trust you on special teams, how can we trust you on offense? So he got to start from ground zero, special teams, and I think he can be a valuable returner. We added a running back. I think he's going to be solid for us. He's not going to win the job probably day one unless he just blows B Rob out the water. But that has to preseason is going to come down to that. He'll make the team, but preseason is going to come down to that. But with the Josh Connelly pick, we went. It's crazy. In a year and a half like time span, we went from Charles Leno, Andrew Norwell, Tyler Lawson, Trey Turner, and Cornelius Lucas. We also had
yeah,
Andrew Wiley last year, and now we have Larry
Nick
Tunsil.
Gates. Remember having Nick Gates?
oh, Nick Gates is
We got
nasty.
Larry
Nick Gates
Tunsil.
is nasty. Yeah,
Hopefully Coleman can play left guard. You got Tyler Biotis, who's a top 10 center this past year, and then you got Sam Cosmi, who's a top five. You could probably say top seven, top six, top five, around there, guard in general in the
yeah.
NFL. And then you have a rookie that you just drafted, Josh Connolly, who we can talk about his strengths and his growing areas later. But he has the athletic traits, or we could just lead into that right now about his strengths and weaknesses. He just has the athletic traits to play tackle.
And not
Um,
just in a run, but in pass as well.
the kid just turned 21 in November. He's still young.
He's going
Six
to
foot
add some weight, some
four,
size.
6'4", maybe 6'5". 311 pounds. He could probably add on some. I'll probably ask him to be more have more strength than to add on weight. Really, I think his weight is fine. I just think he has
Muscle,
to
he's
add
more
more
muscle.
strength. But his footwork for a prospect is elite. He can mirror he can mirror edge rushers. especially speed rushers. He has the athleticism. He has the speed to mirror edge rushers. He has patient hands. He
Hmm.
doesn't panic a lot at all. He has the traits to be a really good tackle. He has the traits for it. His
And
only
another
growth area or weakness for me is his anchor. So against power rushers, how would he fare up? Like when you have to go up against those big bullies on the edge, he may struggle a little bit because if you look at his tape, when he goes up against power rushers, he gets pushed back a little bit. So if they can strengthen his anchor. I think he's going. I think that's to me that's his only really. If you want to say it's a concern, that's probably his only concern to me is his anchor ability, how strong you are against the bull rush move. Speed rushes, he got that, and he can diagnose stunts too. He can
his
definitely do that. That's something Coleman struggled with at left tackle. Is those stunts. He struggled with that a little bit. So
Hmm.
you put Coleman in a phone booth and just have him use his strength and his size and on run plays, his athleticism and speed, he gonna be fine. But Connelly, that's to me, that's the only thing you want to complain about is it's his strength against bull rushes. That's probably it for me.
And then another thing too with this pick as well, it's about your division. You always want to compete within your division. That's what it's going to come down to. The division games, how they're looking, it can make a big difference. So like what the Giants did, they were beefing up their defensive line. I'm pretty sure Adam Peters and all of them, they probably pre-knew all this stuff was going to happen. The Eagles, they beefed up their linebacker core. The Cowboys beefed up their defensive line, and we're going to have to combat that with something. So I do think you're going to have is trenches like with the off season. We have problems within our division with stopping the running backs. They beefed up getting the running backs, but I do think we still need edge rusher. They have to pick up an edge rusher. But I think they pretty much did this to compete within the division as well.
Yeah, and I think these teams drafted Abdul Carter. The Cowboys drafted Donovan Ezaraku. The Eagles, I mean, they got Jaha Campbell. Um, they're drafting to counter Jaden too as well.
Yeah.
They just are. Jaha Campbell's going to be that spy if Jaden has to get out of the pocket. Donovan Ezaraku, it's another edge rusher they're going to have, but on the opposite side of Micah. Um, and the Giants,
They doubled
they
Darius Alexander. They doubled down on defense.
so
We have to have a
not
ball.
only are we drafting to counter our divisional opponents, but they're drafting also to counter us as well with Jaden. It's like we got Jaden in this division. We need some we need some guys that can slow him down at least. And am I
Not
concerned
just the
about
first
that?
wave of guys. We got a second wave second stepping as well.
And am I concerned about that? No, because I think Jaden has the work ethic to counter their counters. If you get what I'm saying. So I'm. It's gonna be interesting this year.
But we know
Not bad
Jaden's
about
mindset is
defensive.
on a different level this year as well. He's playing for something bigger, so that's gonna be
Yeah,
about him for sure.
I forgot I was going to say this. So I do have a theory, in a sense, to why they did not address edge rusher. Um, I think my theory was that they felt very comfortable with a lot of the tier two, the three guys that they were trying to snatch up. But once that run came on in the fourth round, I think that's where the surplus of guys kind of wilted, and that's what led them to go elsewhere, go directly to the board. But I also think like with the top guys that were there available, what if they don't see them as defensive ends? And when I say that is, okay, obviously Dante Fowler led the team in sacks, and everybody is looking at we need a guy that leads the team in sacks. But Dante Fowler was also a guy
Terrible
who
against
was
the run.
very limited when it comes to being on the field against the run. So I wonder, did they have questions about if a Donovan Izaraku or a Mike Green able to be a three down defensive lineman in the National Football League? We will have to see once they get some chance, because when I look at Izaraku, yes, I did love Izaraku, but he reminds me a lot of Dante Fowler in terms of his size and how, he looks. Maybe because of the number 6, but he looks very similar to what Dante Fowler was with us. I kind of questioned the weight a little bit with him as well. And for Mike Green, he's also a little bit lighter as well. He's not like the 6'5", 250-pound defensive end, which is why I think an ideal person that they would love for this defensive line. I'm just speculating here. I think a Michael Williams would have been probably a perfect fit, because we know he's from day one he can help you stop the run, but the pass rush will be something that he'll learn as he gets the coaching that he needs.
Yeah, I think if Michael Williams or Shamar Stewart fell to 29, I think that would have been. I think they would have picked him over Connelly, to be honest. Especially Shamar Stewart. They would have snatched Shamar Stewart right up just because of the RAS score. Because we led the NFL in RAS score again this year. We just as fans, this is the new regime that we're dealing with. We have to come to the realization that if these kids have a crazy RAS score, they should be on our radar.
And also have that connection as well.
Yeah, and also have film, good film,
Yeah.
good film. Um, yeah, with the D line, in my opinion, we have the worst D line in our division. I don't.
Yeah.
We do. Um, they got bigger on the defensive line. They don't have that sack master, if you get what I'm saying. They don't have that guy that we're saying, hey, we need you to get, game changing plays on the defensive line. We don't have that. We don't have that at all.
Do you think
Uh,
that's necessary?
But do you think that can still happen with a few guys that are
I
still
I
available?
I do. I think it's necessary. Now you can rush by committee. You can do that. Uh, but you want a star studded. You want a star in your defensive line, in my opinion. You always want to have like those great teams. They have a star on their defensive line. The Jalen Carters of the world, the Nick Bosa's of the world. Um, the Lions have Aiden Hutchinson. Uh, you have, the Chiefs have Chris Jones.
Do you think
The
if Case is
Ravens
actually
don't.
locked in this season? Because I think he plays better without Allen next to him. Do you
Who?
think he can be that for this defensive line this year? That's a
Who?
big if.
Who?
Kane. That's a
I
big
mean,
if.
we didn't really see much when Allen was out either. I think you're kind of going to get what you get with Deron Payne. I think the bigger question is with
Newton.
Newton, who had an injury early in his rookie year and has a full off season. Is he going to take the next step? Because he was a projected top 15 player in the draft, and we took him at 36. So if he takes the next step, I know I see Simple's question up here, and we can go into that. I think also a guy like Javonte Jean Baptiste, I'm not saying he has to have 14, 15 sacks, but if he can step up his game and be a 5.5 or 6.5 sack guy, or just contribute at least, I think this rush by committee can work. I do wish we did have a top end guy, but unfortunately, it just didn't. It's not the end of the offseason either though. Like there could be someone that they're looking at free agency right now, a little bit of
Lance
a
Newmark
veteran.
said it himself that they've been in conversation. So I think they know that they need an edge.
Yeah, I think they're going to pick up as a Darius Smith or Von Miller. They're probably going to pick up a veteran edge rusher.
How would you
Um,
feel about Preston Smith coming back?
cool. I mean, I don't care at this point.
What about a
they
Judon? These are all the ones that are available.
or
Just throw
Judon.
names.
You could bring
Yeah.
Judon. Listen, they I think the defense. I think the secondary is going to be good this year. That's probably one of my hottest takes this upcoming season. I think the secondary is going to be much better than what they were last year. The depth is insane.
So my
We may not have stars on the defense, but we have depth. We have depth on the defensive line. We have depth at corner. You can say we have depth at at linebacker. Just not even just corner. We have depth at just DB in general, corner specifically. So, and that's around the whole team. Our offensive line has depth. Our running back room has depth. Technically, you can say our receiver room has depth, but we don't have a star there. Or I'm not gonna say we don't have a star because Terry's
Outside
still,
the first two.
yeah. Um, the receiver room is fine, even though you want to get a little younger. Um, the tight end room has depth. The tight end room is fine. So um, there's not a specific glaring hole on this roster, if other than edge, in my
so I got a
opinion.
question for you guys. So this all season,
And we got a kicker. And we got a kicker.
Yeah.
yeah. But this question I got for you guys. So like this off, you've seen how Adam Peters have flipped around a few position groups already. Like offensive line is set for the next few years, corner is set for the next few years. Next off season, what's a position group that you think he will like take on next to make sure that that's also set? So we've seen it done with the corner room. We've seen it done with the offensive line. Which room do y'all think next season he focuses on?
I think it depends on how this season go because even though we could say we're set a little bit, a lot of these guys are still on 1 year deals. Like Marshawn Lattimore is likely going to be on a 1 year deal. You have to see how healthy he can stay for a whole season. Can he rebound in this defense? So I mean, you can never stop adding in those rooms as well. So until I think obviously we still need to find our guy in the East. Everyone in the East has their guy that can disrupt and be a game changer. We need someone that can be a game changer for this defense to take it to a level that we wanted to be at.
Yeah, I agree. Like so, I mean, they invested in the only defensive player that they addressed, or two. I'm sorry. I think Trey Amos has that ability to be a starting corner. Love that pick so much. It's a great pick, great value, insane value for you to get
I'm
him at the back of the
surprised
second
he's
round.
still there second.
He can play outside corner, of course. Um, he can play man and zone. He doesn't have elite speed, but he's technically sound. He has a safe floor as a DB. He has a safe floor. Now, is his ceiling incredibly high? We don't know yet. But I don't know something.
You know what I told you on Saturday, Caleb? About a Big Sips question.
Um, I think Trey Amos. If you have any concern with him, it's his probably his acceleration or his footwork is good. Um, but heavy feet. I think if he gets beat by like those speedy guys, I think he may be done for. But we don't know until we see the games. But his anticipation, his intelligence playing the position, it's really good. I've been looked at some film on him. He plays a position at a very high level from the shoulders up. And he also invested in a linebacker in Kane. Crazy athletic, fastest
And he can
linebacker in the
cover. He can
class.
cover as well.
He's a little undersized, I saw somebody put up Fred Warner's RAS score and his RAS score. They were closely similar. Um, difference is, I think Fred Warner was a safety and he transitioned to linebacker. I think Kane played receiver.
Receiver.
He played receiver. Um, and it's interesting to see if he gets on the field. I'm just saying this: if he gets on the field, if he gets on the field, yeah, like I said, he has to play one of the special teams first. Bread and butter. You can't do that. You can't do anything. But if he somehow sees the field, the way they can use Frankie Louvu, they can use him any way they want. Um, you have him next to Bobby, uh, and he's learning behind one of the best linebacker coaches in Ked Norton, who has a history of being a great linebacker coach.
He has a connection with Norton as well.
UCLA.
That's why they drafted the other linebacker from UCLA and the other drafted free agent.
Um, you have him next to Bobby. You can put Frankie anywhere you want. Edge.
So how do you feel about Jordan McGee's development?
I don't know. He gotta. He got like. I don't know. I don't know about Jordan McGee.
You think he can become elite this season?
No, Caleb. We're not going to talk about that. No. But if Kane can play alongside Bobby, they can use Frankie in the edge on top of the center. They can move him anywhere. They can do whatever. Like they have more freedom to use him now. Whereas last year they needed him sometimes in coverage. Kane can play some coverage too. He's a really good coverage linebacker. Him against the run,
He's good and solid with against tight ends as well.
So, it's going to be interesting to see how those two picks pan out for us.
So how do y'all feel about the running back pick? And why do you think we went running back so late in the draft? When that's one thing a lot of your fan base feel that should have been addressed earlier as well.
Because for Adam Peters, he comes from 49ers, so while yes, there were some talented backs on the board, you can always find a guy late and they could be just as productive. So I think it's a 49ers philosophy. And the way that his raw score is absolutely similar to Travion Henderson. So I don't think we missed on that. I think for him, he only played one game last year, so he's really fresh coming into this team. He's a very explosive runner, very patient runner. I see
he
some
has
people,
good vision.
yeah, I see some people competent to like Aaron Jones, as a running back. He's something we need.
He doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on his body either. He only played one game last year, so he's like you said, the kid is fresh. Me personally, I think he's going to be better than the bottom two backs in the room. I think he's going to be better than keep forgetting his name.
McNichols.
Yeah, I think he's going to be better than him. Better than Austin Eckler, don't know yet. Question is, can he beat out B-Rob?
I think to start the season they split, but I think as the season goes on, he may be the main back.
What you think, DT?
Can he beat Brian Robinson?
Like right away.
I think he can, but right now I have him more as an RB2. Because I also think with Eckler, the injuries and stuff he suffered last year, like concussions, missing multiple games, you need someone that can provide that same ability if Eckler is out. And but even like Eckler as like your third down back will be just as valuable. But I think a thunder and lightning approach with Krosky and Brian Robinson can be very effective. Now I do think there might be potential that like if Brian Robinson like goes through that funk, he shouldn't go through that funk like he did the past couple of years because for one, offensive line is going to be the best he's ever played behind, and then also like we're just praying that he doesn't get injured. Injuries have been a bigger factor as well. Why he has been stunning his development at certain times, but if we get the Brian Robinson that we see when we play against Tennessee and against the New York Giants, I
Or
think
Philly,
I think he could be a 1100 yard back. He can be 1100 yard back in his offense, but it's all about just being consistent and seeing the hole. With Krosky Merritt, once he sees a hole, he can cut any direction.
And he shoots out of the can. Like he his explosiveness is yeah, it's insane. It's all about competition. It's gonna figure it out its way. Excuse me.
There's
Through
competition
preseason.
all through the roster. All through the roster.
You also got to remember this is B Rob's contract year, so he may go crazy. He may go
But
crazy
I've
this
heard
year.
people say that doesn't affect running backs being on a contract year because they really don't get they're not valued in the NFL as much, so they don't take it as serious. But I think with
Yeah,
Brian
I mean,
Robinson, he knows that he hasn't had. If he's healthy, I think his mindset, he knows he has to ball out. That's how I think. But
yeah, he does. He does for sure. So, I mean, that's true, but listen, B Rob to me is still average, but
I think he's a running back too in the NFL.
what
But
do I know? What do I know,
I,
DT?
I think he's a running back too in this league. He could be a solid running back too. That's how I feel. But I do think this year he's going to give it his all if he stays healthy.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I mean, like, I think for us, it's like having a guy that when it's an opportunity to score from anywhere, I feel like Cross America can score from anywhere. Like the 17, 18 play drives and stuff, it's all fun and dandy, but it's not sustainable every single year. Like you're gonna need some playmakers that can help score from multiple places. And that's also where Jalen Lane comes in as well, because he played on a Virginia Tech offense with no quarterback and very inconsistent play from the offense overall. The best players on that team was him and Bryce Tunin, the running back from Virginia Tech, who got drafted as well. So, what do y'all think about him in his offense? Because I had some similar comps to when we drafted guys like Terry and Jamison Crowder, who were also special team guys, but contribute heavily on offense. So I think Jalen Lane can be that type of player.
Like all out of all the draft picks, that's one I still have to look at their games. I didn't watch too much of Virginia Tech. But if he provides speed to the offense, that's one thing this whole draft that we've improved on is providing speed throughout this roster. They got a fast, they got a, except for the corner, but pretty much they got the linebacker that was fast. Lane was fast. Like they want to add speed to this roster. Debo, he can be fast at times. Like they want to add speed to the roster. So I think just that wow factor, and I've also heard he's a deep threat. So if he's a deep threat as well, he provides speed. That's better than Miami. Like, do I think he'll be like at week one, slot one? It's gonna be competition between him and Luke. So that's how I feel. Well, Luke
Yeah,
has to be better this year. Like he has to be because I give rookies at least 2 years before I say you gotta go. Luke gotta be better this year. Now there's competition; he can be beat out.
yeah, they have to. They care about speed, explosiveness, and just athleticism. They have athletes in certain key positions on this team. They definitely have athletes, especially in the most valuable positions in sports. We have athleticism, O line, tackle, quarterback, corner, receiver. But we don't have it in at edge. So I think that's the biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just don't have that superb athlete with production, college production at edge. I think that's what they're looking at. They're looking at size. Um, and that goes to my other point that when we did those mock drafts, DT, about certain edge rushers that we picked, um, I had a feeling that we wouldn't pick some of these players because of what Adam Peters wants in an edge rusher.
Yeah.
6'5", 6'4", long arms, production, speed and power. The edges that were there, they didn't have that. And the edges that did have that, like Landon Jackson or Jared Ivey from Ole Miss, uh,
I was surprised
or
that he
Kyle
went
Kennard,
undrafted.
because Kyle Kennard was there in the sixth or fifth,
And they had top 30 visit with him too.
but we couldn't get him because he got picked before us.
Chargers.
Yeah. So like when people have these complaints of, oh, why did we pick a receiver, or why did we pick a
I
tackle, why
do wonder
didn't
why
we?
they didn't pick up Jaden Ivey. He was an undrafted free
His
agent. Like I
his
wonder
RAF
what.
score is terrible. It's bad. It's really bad. It's like in the twos or threes.
I wonder what happened. Why he dropped so
It's
far.
bad.
Him
But
and Kobe Bryant. I wasn't expecting Kobe not to get drafted either.
the people were that's why people were so they were so some people were angry at that O line pick. It's like we need a defense. Well, do you listen to what our GM says, and do you observe what he values in prospects? If those two things don't fit the bill, then don't even consider him. Don't even consider them at all, and don't question why he didn't pick them. So
Okay.
that's something our fan base has to learn in going forward with Adam Peters and Lance Newmark, however long he stays here. They value athleticism, they value experience, a lot of reps, just production. That's what they value. If you have all those four things, three things, you're a commander.
I got another question. The biggest question a lot of the fans, some fans wonder. Well, two things actually. First, I want to go. The first thing with Gabe Taylor. Like, how do you feel about Gabe Taylor making the team?
Oh Lord.
I mean, it's cool. I wish him the best. I wish him the best. I want to see him succeed. Now, if he makes the team, that'd be kind of dope. That'd be kind of dope
I
if he
think he
made the
starts
team.
from practice squad. Honestly, I do think he at workouts. I do think he goes get an invite to training camp. From
Mm-hmm.
training camp, I do think he ends up being a practice squad player.
If he makes the team, it'd be pretty cool. And if he makes the team, and if he's at training camp, fans, please don't be weird. Please don't be weird. Please don't. Don't be.
I
Don't.
don't want all that pressure on that young man. Like he's still his own player. Like he's going to let him be great. He already. That's how I feel about it. What about you, DT?
I'm gonna say this, and this goes to our fans. Slow down your expectations. If he makes the team, and if he doesn't make the team, I'm wishing him all the luck. But the biggest thing we have to do is let Gabe Taylor be Gabe Taylor. He's doing this for himself as well, just as much that he knows that his brother was on this team a long, long time ago. And I don't want people to sit up here and do all these things and have all these crazy expectations for him and just let him go through the process. He knows his name carries weight. He knows that. He knows that he's walking in the very same building, just a different name that his brother played in. And I want Gabe Taylor to be Gabe Taylor. I don't want him to be Sean. And he knows that.
And that's
He's
why he made
already
a
went on
post.
social media and told everybody. So I'm wishing him the best of luck.
The last thing, another big topic is the stadium from this week. How do y'all feel about that?
I'm excited. I'm excited. We deserve this. The fan base deserves this. The city deserves it. And I believe, like Josh Allen says, it's gonna be the best stadium in the whole league. I believe that. I'm gonna have a sunroof in my stadium, DT. Glass ceiling. You know, they deserve it, and I'm gonna have to go to a game, I'm gonna be what? Was it 2030? 2030,
2030.
right? Caps won, second round bound. Good job, fellas. Um, 2030. So I'll be 35 years old. 34 going on 35. And those 5 years gonna go by fast. So and that's gonna be near Jaden's contract too.
This is 2025. Dang.
That's what I'm saying.
Dang.
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna go by fast too.
Thanks for showing your age.
I'll be 30. Not too bad. I'll be 30.
Nasty.
But yeah, Jaden's gonna have his contract extended. He's gonna have a contract extended by then.
Do y'all think Terry would be able to play in the new stadium or he'll be retired?
I don't know, bruh. I'm not even thinking
Not
about
going that
that.
far. We'll get to that point when we get there.
Jaden gonna be 28. Yeah, he's gonna be 28. 28. He's gonna be 28 when that stadium get built. Yeah, man.
We'll have a ring by then, though, I think.
Bruh, she always got her little bucket hat on, bruh. Like,
I got hats.
Oh man, we really. Now, is it true that that picture going around, that's not the true actual picture, or no?
It's two pictures. So the one of inside, I think, is, but it's still going to be changed. May be changed. That's not that official.
that inside.
So the one with the
real.
outside with the Jaden picture is fake.
Okay.
That inside picture's real.
Okay, the
Yeah.
inside picture is real. Okay, got you. So, if there is one thing that you want in the new stadium, that is a concept from some of the newer stadiums we have. Apparently, Deuce said neither of them are real.
Yep. Okay.
They're not real. So then why did JP family post that then?
As I said, still unofficial, but I think
Can
that makes it close.
you go on his Twitter right now, DT,
I can.
and try to put it on the screen?
Yeah, let me go up here real quick.
Yeah.
Because he was at the event. I think it was in the brochure they had. I got it right here.
Yeah, go to his media. The photos.
Picture they used for the sign and no rendering has been complete yet.
Okay. Cause he posted that like, this is gonna be he acting like JP Finley was acting like this gonna be the way the stadium looked. Rendering of all the glass roof and views of the U.S. Capitol. Timeline to open the stadium is 2030. So hey, that'll be fire though. That would be fire.
So let me finish my question.
That stadium would be crazy.
All right, so let me finish my question. So if there is a concept that you have seen from a previous stadium you have been to that's recently new, like Atlanta or Dallas or what is one thing you would love for them to have that would be very similar?
Hmm.
I like the Atlanta tailgate area. That's the only other stadium I've been to outside of ours. I like
Hmm.
their tailgating area where different people park in certain areas. They have like a little grass lot where people come. They had a little stage where that grass lot was. And different people park and tailgate in that area, not where they're parked at. It's a little separate. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe a pool. The Rams got a pool, but I've never been to no other stadium, so I really
I
can't.
don't. I don't really know.
I don't know.
I can't really tell you because I don't go to a lot of stadiums. So
Did you
I
like
would be the
Arrowhead?
person to ask that.
She asked you like Arrowhead. Do you with Arrowhead?
No, I didn't go to Arrowhead.
What
Oh,
game
you
was
I
went
didn't
to
go
that?
to
one?
Arrowhead. I went to Jacksonville. I went to the
Oh, okay.
Jaguar Stadium. The stadium's
Yeah.
okay. Like it's not all that. It's cool. It's nothing really special about it. It's nothing special about the Jaguar Stadium.
When they played the Chiefs, though.
Yeah, they played the Chiefs in the preseason. They were at home. Um,
Okay.
yeah. Now, if some odd reason they make the stadium look like this, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Them tickets gonna be expensive, by
I
the way.
think this joint gonna be so dope, man.
I just want to see what they do build around the stadium as well. I want to see how
Yeah, I'm
they
interested about the outside of the stadium.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna get people jobs. It's gonna get people opportunities. It's not gonna be a lot of parking, but you gonna have to take the metro to go to the game. So that can have pros and cons. The
Yeah.
metro's gonna get
I, I
a
now I do have a question for myself. I wonder how it'll work for a person outside um of DC if to travel. I
It's
mean,
just about 8,000 parking spot.
you gotta
yeah,
get up early.
yeah, 8,000 could go out pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's not that many.
You gotta get
I'm
up
pretty sure they'll
early.
have like hotels and stuff around.
Now,
I don't
if they're smart, if they can build a parking garage,
Hmm.
if they can build an exterior parking garage somehow, some way, I don't know. Don't ask me, but if just in general, a general statement, if you can um, construct an exterior parking garage, that can help too. Um, you gonna have to park at the metro. Take the metro to the game. Leave your car there. Uh,
I can see that.
you're gonna have to drive somewhere in DC. Park there. Pay for an all day pass or whatever. Take the metro to see the game. The metro is going to make a lot of money off this. An insane amount of money. Um, the only con there is to that,
why
um,
ends.
yeah.
Did you come on, man? Don't you
It's
repeat
I mean,
that,
she's
true.
right.
It's
She's right.
true.
It's
bro.
going to
Don't
be,
stop saying
and
that.
but I mean, she's correct. There's always weird people out there, and you're gonna have people that are gonna try to rob people. You're gonna have people fighting on the metro. You, God forbid, something crazy happens, an Eagles fan and a Commanders fan fighting, or
Somebody will push somebody on the train track. It'll be crazy.
somebody fighting in the train, somebody fighting in the like the the benches. Like that's probably the only biggest con that I have with this. But other than that, I mean, I think it's gonna be dope. Now, when they win games and they win a Super Bowl, when they win the Super Bowl, don't know when, but whenever they win the Super Bowl, ooh, boy, it's gonna be crazy in there. It's gonna be crazy in there. Metro may have to get shut down for the whole day. I'm
Now,
so serious.
when we host that draft,
When we host the Super Bowl, talk about a draft.
The Olympics.
I see the vision, man. I see the vision, dog.
Listen, I may have to move back to the DMV, y'all. May have to. May have to. May have to.
Oh boy, this is all good. This is all good.
Rookies report back on the ninth.
Rookies report back on the 9th. When is OTA is the 28th?
28th and 30th.
All right. Any last thing about the rookies? Did we talk about undrafted guys? Is there a couple undrafted guys you like?
The Ja'Cory Brooks one,
and
the receiver.
safety,
McDaniels.
McDaniels.
I like McDaniels. I like McDaniels just as much as I did Tyler Owens last year.
Really?
Yeah, I think they really love him as
I
well.
think
So,
Percy is going to be there. One of them is taking Percy's spot. Either Owens or McDaniels
yeah,
by mid-season.
I actually really I think Percy get cut.
Yeah,
Percy sucks.
I'm so happy.
But Brooks
I
is
got a guy
interesting.
for this Percy, so it's just as bad.
I'm kind of surprised Brooks didn't get drafted because for all the Tyler Shown hype, they should have seen
They
that
were
he had
seeing his
some production.
run at the combine, but he's
Hmm.
taller, so fast receivers don't run.
Oh, he's not. Uh, is he really fast? I see him as like a 4'6" guy.
That's what he ran at the combine. It was like a 4.6.
I think he got game speed. But he played with Bryce Young.
Alabama.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's someone to keep an eye on, man. Him and McDaniels. I love the McDaniels. I think he gonna be on the team. He gonna get some playing time too. They're gonna
I think the
rotate the
defensive
safety.
tackle can be a rotational piece over near the mid-season.
What's his name? The kid for UCF.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about that big beefy dude?
Barber, I think.
Like
Yeah.
mid-season can be like a rotational piece.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that. It also depends on how they see the D line, though. Also, I'm kind of surprised, even though they didn't draft it in, they still didn't sign an undrafted edge rusher.
They must have got their eye on somebody. Because like Newmark said, they've been in talks with some of the undrafted.
They're going to get a veteran edge rusher.
Yeah, I think they're going to get a veteran edge rusher either by the free agent pool currently right now, or it's going to be a surprise cut somewhere.
This is some guys like Ravens got some edges. The Giants may got an odd man out somewhere. Some teams like if the Eagles, Huff may be the odd man out. It's some teams that the edges may be available throughout the summer.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see for sure.
All right, man. That's all we got for y'all tonight. Any last words from you guys where people can find you? And what y'all gonna be doing for this week?
CXLEBJXSTIN. It's my Twitter handle. Just can't wait. I really want to see this rookie minicamp. So the numbers, the interviews, them working out. I need the. It's gonna happen soon, sooner than later, for sure.
That's on the 9th. They go back on the 9th. That's next week. Follow me on Twitter, KPow0922. I'm about to watch these playoff games. Big one coming up right now. I do think Lakers end up winning tonight, but Minnesota takes it off. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
All right, guys. You guys can follow me at DP Sensei on my Instagram. Also follow me D Cleveland Jr. on Twitter. Just dropped a draft review of all the 5 picks for the Commanders draft a couple of days ago. Go ahead and share and like that, comment on that. We'll be doing all draft grades for all the draft classes. I'll probably start with the AFC first and then go through the NFC. Also catch me tomorrow night with the Interest to Lab podcast. Be our first episode back since after the draft, introducing our new member. Shout out to J Mick. He's going to be joining us on the podcast for the long time to see. But that's all I got.
And another thing, don't forget on Twitter, if you guys do the Josh Connelly challenge, go to tag at Red Zone in the Lab, hashtag Josh Connelly challenge. We're trying to find some offensive linemen in the streets as well.
Yeah. But all right, y'all. That's all we got for y'all tonight. This is Command Time Podcast presented by the Fans First Sports Network, live on YouTube and on X/Twitter. We'll catch you guys next week as we're going to be looking at the overall roster right now, what you to expect as we get ready for the rest of the OTA sessions this off season. So y'all have a safe night, and we'll see y'all next week.
Got me feeling so free, free. Like a cool summer breeze, breeze. Got me feeling so free, free, free. It's about time.